Hello lovely people, thank you once again for stopping by our channel. Today I'll be talking about the Global Talent Visa. Specifically, what I want to talk about in this video, it's about how do you apply for this visa, what you can do on this visa, a bit about the peer review process.
A new place, a new home for a while, let me feel alive.
Yeah, so Global Talent Visa, and it's intended at targeting leaders or potential leaders in three main areas. That is people who are leaders in academia or research, people who are leaders in arts and culture, and thirdly, people who are leaders in digital technology. Money you pay for each of the stages. Of course, there's the endorsement, as I mentioned earlier on, and the endorsement and the visa application, everything together comes to about £623. The endorsement is about 450 something, and then the visa application is 167. So you need to pay for that. And then of course you have the infamous immigration health surcharge, which is also 624. So I'm going to be talking to you about the pathway of academia and research. Oftentimes people think that you need to, for example, pioneer a particular innovation or maybe conduct a groundbreaking research, or sit on a very huge grant for you to be able to apply for the global talent. I don't think that is necessarily the case, but of course, if you have these accomplishments, that would significantly strengthen your case. But if you aren't and you can demonstrate the potential to become a leader, then you are good as somebody who is already recognized as a leader. So what goes into it? I mean, there are things that makes the Global Talent Visa quite unique. The first is when you have an eligible or a verifiable offer of employment, which is given by a higher education. So for example, if you've got a job as a research associate, a research assistant, an assistant professor, a full professor, any job within higher education, particularly in the area of academia or research, then you can use that as one of the bases to apply for the Global Talent Visa. But then if you also have what is called an individual fellowship, because these are monies that are awarded to individuals to pursue specific type of research. So for such fellowships, if you happen to have one of such fellowships, then of course you are also eligible to apply for the Global Talent. But then the UK also have got grants, grant bodies. So the UKRI, which is the UK Research and Innovation, also have councils that award grants. So if you happen to be one of such people who has been awarded a grant, then you can apply for the Global Talent using the grant that you have applied as a demonstration of your global talent or you being a leader. But then you can also apply for the Global Talent Visa. If you don't have any of these, you have to go through the route called the peer review. And essentially this is a process for your colleagues in the field or in your discipline to be able to vouch for your status as either a leader or a potential leader. So this is where you would have to go through what is called the endorsement process. So you would have to go through the endorsement, and with the endorsement, what essentially is required is that you have to write a personal statement, essentially demonstrating why you are a potential leader or why you are a leader in your field. I'll do a separate videos where I'll bring together 3 different personal statements, one for myself and one from 2 other colleagues who have generously agreed for me to be able to, of course, anonymously discuss aspects of their personal statements. So you need to write a personal statement, essentially selling yourself, telling the endorsement body or the council that is going to peer review your application that, look, I am a potential leader in my field, and I know that you have a lot to say in terms of your research, in terms of your grant winning, in terms of your teaching, and how all these things come together and potentially open up new opportunities for the UK or for the field that you work in. So essentially you need to write a personal statement, and then of course you also need a curriculum vitae, which is a 2-page CV, in which you essentially have to demonstrate what makes you stand out, and you could include a number of things in your CV. It's just 2-page. So if you're a researcher, obviously you want to have in there your research publications, you want to have in there some teaching experience, you want to have in there some grants that you've won, you want to have in there some extracurricular activities, some volunteering activities that you have done to be able to make that application. So you put all these documents together and then you submit it to one of the councils. So depending on your area of expertise, so if you're in the arts and humanities, just as I am, then your endorsing body is likely to be the British Academy. I know my colleagues in the engineering and sciences, theirs goes to the Royal Academy, and then you would hear a decision on your endorsement between, give or take, 2 to 3 weeks. And then after you've received the endorsement, then you can proceed to apply for the Global Talent. Now, if you had any of the prestigious awards, like an individual fellowship, or you have a job offer, or you've won a grant, so you would actually sidestep the process of going through the peer review. So the peer review is for those of us who haven't yet won these grants. Of course, it's an eligible award. There are some awards that the UK recognizes. Not just award limited to UK research councils, awards from the Norwegian Council for Research, American Kennedy School of Government, a number of international bodies and funding organizations. Some awards that they give to academics or researchers are also recognized as one of the awards you need. And when you have these awards, you don't need to go through the peer review process. So what can you do on this visa, and what makes it so special? I think one of the things that makes the Global Talent Visa very attractive, to begin with, you can apply for 5 years at a go. You can be employed, you can be self-employed, you can even be a director of a company once you hold that visa. You can decide to even change jobs without informing the Home Office about the changes in your circumstances, which I think for me it's very useful. And of course, it cuts significantly the duration you have stayed in the United Kingdom in order to be eligible for the indefinite leave to remain. So, for example, if you are moving to the United Kingdom for the first time as a highly skilled person, and you are offered the choice between what is called a Tier 2 visa and the Global Talent Visa, my advice is always go for the Global Talent Visa. Why? Because the Global Talent Visa means you are not tied to any employer, means you can do whatever you please, whatever you're happy about. You can work in your capacity as a researcher, but then if you have other hobbies and other things, you can do that without necessarily seeking permission from your employer, because you wouldn't be flouting your visa regulations, unlike whilst you are on the Tier 2, where you need to be able to do work that falls within the same occupational category, which means you can't do other jobs outside of what your employer has stipulated on your letter of employment. So that makes the Global Talent really, really attractive. And as I said, it cuts the duration you have to stay in the UK. So once you've been on the Global Talent for 3 years, you are eligible to apply for the indefinite leave to remain in the UK. And it's the icing on the cake. In that sense, the Global Talent has really come to make things a bit more friendly and more relaxed for potential leaders and leaders of their field, particularly in academia, who are looking to potentially move to the United Kingdom and contribute towards what they like best in terms of whatever capacity they find themselves. To bring in your dependents as well, which is really, really good. Your dependents come as dependents of Global Talent Visa, and then if your dependents can also start working immediately. In about 2 years, and you have dependents, you can do the maths and know where you start. So that will be all for now. Thank you so much for watching this video, and until next time when I bring you what goes into your personal statement and also your expert recommendation, it's bye-bye for now. Bye-bye.
Let me feel